In Banjo-Kazooie, one of your objectives is to find and rescue 5 Jinjos who are trapped in place by the evil magic of Gruntilda. But what if Banjo and Kazooie were unable to save them? Could the Jinjos save themselves? Today I'm going to find out which of the 45 Jinjos in Banjo-Kazooie could escape from captivity on their own. As in, which ones could walk from their spot on the map to the exit pad and warp out of the level, then make it out of Gruntilda's lair to reach Spiral Mountain. And for that to happen, we need to make some assumptions. First off, just to make this idea possible, let's assume that all the note doors and world entrances are already open, because otherwise, all the Jinjos would be stuck. As for what the Jinjos can do, it's fair to assume that Jinjos can jump and swim if need be, but only to the degree that Banjo can without any assistance from Kazooie or moves from bottles. So if Banjo can't do something alone, neither can the Jinjos. And yes, Jinjos can fly, which for our purposes today, I'm going to ignore. Because otherwise this video wouldn't exist and you wouldn't have something to watch while you eat lunch. For that reason, I'm also discarding their ability to survive underwater or in unbreathable conditions indefinitely. For this video, they are adherent to the air meter just like Banjo. Oh, and for this challenge, it's every Jinjo for themselves, no helping each other out. I'll be giving each Jinjo one of 4 scores: safe if they can make it to Spiral Mountain unharmed, injured if they can make it but not without hurting themselves, trapped if they have no way to escape, or dead if they'd, die. Let's start with Mumbo's Mountain. Purple Jinjo is the closest, being right at the start, and while this drop might look scary compared to a Jinjo's height, it can drop down safely and leave the level. And since Mumbo's Mountain is a stone's throw from the Gruntilda's lair entrance, obviously this Jinjo is safe. Blue Jinjo is trapped around water, and all it needs to do is swim over to these inclines to get onto land, and they're safe as well. Higher up the mountain is Yellow Jinjo, who can slide down this slope and walk past the bowl to the entrance, and then even higher up is Orange Jinjo. Walking off Stonehenge is no problem, and then again down the mountain to make it out. But Green Jinjo has a problem. They're trapped in one of these huts that requires the Beak Buster to break, and there's seemingly no way for the Jinjo to leave the hut on their own, no doors or anything like that. I'll be generous and guess that they have air in there, but that means Green Jinjo is trapped. Still, Mumbo's Mountain goes 4 out of 5. Treasure Trove Cove starts with Blue Jinjo under the level start, and although Snacker is a danger, they can just scramble out of the water quickly and leave. As long as you agree that the Jinjos can climb this vine, and again, the note doors are absent, then the Trove Jinjos can reach Spiral Mountain, so Blue Jinjo is safe. As is Green Jinjo, if you agree that they can climb down this pole, as they can then slide down the Salty Hippo and walk to the entrance. And while Purple Jinjo is up on a high ledge, Banjo can survive the fall onto the ground, so by my rules, this Jinjo would be fine. Orange Jinjo could probably fall down the walls here without getting hurt, or they could hop up here, walk down the stairs, and swim across this long stretch to the entrance zone. Again, Snacker the Shark might bite them, but with the boxes along the way, they should be alright. Yellow Jinjo's way up high in a tree, and this is a little tricky. No way they can go out to the lighthouse because of the slippery slope, and even if they could, that would just get them to a precarious position. But if they jump and slide down the mountain, they can reach the mine-filled pool area and then slide down to the walls, drop down these boxes, and make it to the entrance, meaning all 5 Jinjos make it out safely. Clanker's Cavern is much more dangerous, and first, we need to address the fish in the room. Clanker is suspended underwater before Banjo loosens his chain, so when the level begins, Clanker's innards are completely submerged. So, can Purple Jinjo swim to safety? We don't know for sure, because Banjo only ever accesses this area with a lower water line. And since I can't confirm if this Jinjo could swim to safety, I'm going to say that unfortunately, this Jinjo will die. Now, 2 of the other Jinjos are also underwater, like Blue Jinjo here, but they can swim up to the water line with air to spare. And despite how deep they are, Green Jinjo can also surface safely, although just barely. Orange Jinjo isn't underwater, and just needs to slide down the vent that he's in to get to relative safety. Now, all 3 of those Jinjos can then swim from the main chamber to the entrance zone without losing too much air and climb up to this area, but Banjo needs Kazooie's help to get onto these pipes, so Banjo on his own can't get back to the entrance from here. And that means that Blue, Green, and Orange Jinjo are all trapped in Clanker's Cavern. But what about Yellow Jinjo, who can jump onto these pipes easily? Well, they can make it to these vents here and, although it's a little hard, jump unassisted to the pipe with the exit pad and then swim across the Clanker entrance room to make it to Spiral Mountain, so Yellow is safe. Bubblegloop Swamp has another big hazard, the swamp water. Touch that and the piranhas instantly bite you. Purple and Orange Jinjo are standing in this water, so as their escape starts, they would immediately take damage. Thankfully, Bubblegloop Swamp is set up where the Jinjos could jump then from safe area to safe area and reach the entrance without taking any more damage. The way from Bubblegloop Swamp to Spiral Mountain is more of a walk, but it's a clear walk, so Purple and Orange will get out with injuries. Blue Jinjo is up on a reed, and they could climb down and reach the next one without touching swamp water, but I don't see any way that they can jump across this area without Kazooie or taking fall damage. So into the piranha water to take injuries and limp to the entrance. Green Jinjo has it better since they just need to walk this elevated path, slide down here, and hop to the beginning safely. As for Yellow Jinjo, all they need to do is jump from their platform to the bridge, and they're basically home free. With the right angle, this is possible, so Yellow is safe as well. Freezeezy Peak is interesting because it starts with a huge slope that you have to climb up to leave, which requires the Talon Trot. Therefore, the Jinjos can't climb it, and all of them are, at best, trapped in the level. Theoretically, if they could climb it, the path from the Freezeezy entrance to Spiral Mountain is safe, but instead, we can only determine who can make it to the bottom of this hill. Blue Jinjo has to make a jump from the snowman's broom to the scarf, which is possible, and then they can walk down the scarf and around the winter village to reach relative safety, although yes, they are still officially trapped. Green Jinjo is on that path too, so they're able to reach the slope fine. On the other side of the level, Purple Jinjo is on a stack of presents, which they can hop down and then pass by the tree to join the others. And assuming Waza lets them leave, which is what he wants anyway, Orange Jinjo can hop down from the alcove in the cave, slide down here, and follow the same way. So while they're all still trapped, they can escape their positions comfortably, which is more than can be said for Yellow. They're in Mumbo's hut, which he just so happened to place across a bed of freezing cold water that instantly damages you. So they can't make it to the bottom of the hill without injuries, so technically, it's better for them to stay trapped in Mumbo's hut forever. At least he has heating. Gobi's Valley is next, and let's start with Blue Jinjo at the bottom of the moat, which is filled with water in this footage, but remember, before Banjo steps in, this is nothing but quicksand. So either the Jinjo scrambles over to one of the flight pads down here to avoid more damage, or it stands in the quicksand and dies. I'll call that being trapped, and as for Purple Jinjo, we need to do some more guesswork. They're in King Sandybutt's tomb, which, to start, is completely underground. So this Jinjo is buried alive, and if we assume that this pyramid is not 100% airtight, they'd be crushed by all the sand coming in. I'm calling that a death. Now Orange Jinjo is stuck inside Jinxie, so they are also trapped because the door won't open without Banjo. Even if it did, Orange would take fall damage off the magic carpet, so no sense in going anywhere. As for Green Jinjo, it can jump out of the alcove easily and run back to the entrance, and Yellow Jinjo is right by the oasis and just needs to jump from the rock to the exit pad. However, once they leave Gobi's Valley, they have to cross this quicksand pit, and without the use of the wading boots, they have to injure themselves to get out of the lair. The rest of the path to Spiral Mountain is fine, but still, Green and Yellow would make it out injured. On to Mad Monster Mansion, which has some Jinjos blocked behind barriers that Banjo alone can't break down. For example, Purple Jinjo is in the wine cellar, trapped both behind the top of a barrel and the door to the cellar, both of which require a Kazooie move to open. If you think the Jinjo can break both of these down itself, Purple could make it to the entrance, but I'm calling them trapped. Same with Yellow Jinjo, who's in a bedroom on the 3rd floor. Banjo can't break the window down, and therefore Yellow is trapped inside. Again, another case where they could make it out of the level if you're being less strict, since going down the side of the house doesn't cause fall damage. Which is relevant for Green Jinjo, perched on one of the heating vents on the mansion's roof. All they need to do is slide down the side to reach the exit pad, and the walk in Grunty's lair, while long, is doable, so Green is safe. As for Orange Jinjo, well, they're just in a hedge maze right by the entrance to the level, so that's a no-brainer. Finally, Blue Jinjo is up on this ledge in the reflecting pool, and all they'd have to do is jump into the water, hop out, and they're home free. So 3 Jinjos escape the Haunted Manor. Rusty Bucket Bay is a very scary world, evidenced by Green Jinjo making camp in a pool of radioactive waste. Sadly, there's no way they can avoid taking some damage from this, and then it's a swim across the oily water to make it to the entrance. Now, this level usually isn't accessible until the water level is raised, but my guess is that a Jinjo could make it into this pool and swim through this portion and eventually walk all the way back to Spiral Mountain, so at least Green makes it, albeit with injuries, which is more than I can say for Blue Jinjo. They're trapped forever in this shipping crate because, unless I'm missing something, they can't escape even with the help of these boxes. Not without Kazooie at least. All the others are outside, including Purple Jinjo, who's in a pickle. They're sunk in oily water, and it is just barely possible to swim to the surface and onto this crate. Then they catch their breath, climb up this ladder, and back to the exit pad, so while it's close, they're safe. Yellow Jinjo also needs to make a big swim and avoid Snacker, but they can climb out fine, and since Orange Jinjo can't raise the egg tolls to just walk around the level, it needs to swim around the rusty bucket, but this is fairly easy. Yellow and Orange are both safe, albeit pretty oily. Finally, there's Click Clock Wood. Starting in spring, Green Jinjo will immediately take damage from the Snare Bear, and sadly, they're stuck on a tree branch with no way to climb down without way too much injury. Even just this initial fall might be lethal for a Jinjo, so I think this one is trapped. Also in spring is Purple Jinjo, hanging out in the beehive. Now, Banjo can't enter the beehive in spring for some reason, although he is clearly able to fit. If we assume that a Jinjo can leave the beehive, they can then jump up and slide down this part of the tree, walk down to the lower level, and then to the exit pad. The only danger in leaving Click Clock Wood is this tunnel filled with whiplashes, and while it is a bit precise, you can maneuver around them to take no damage without the use of the Wonder Wing. So Purple Jinjo can make it from Click Clock Wood to Spiral Mountain just fine. In summer, Yellow Jinjo is maybe 20 steps from the entrance, so obviously they're okay. Orange Jinjo is in the back of Autumn on a pile of leaves, which they can slide down easily. Then they can reach the exit pad to safety by just walking around the stage. And last up is Blue Jinjo, hanging out on top of Mumbo's hut in winter. Since these brambles are frozen over, it is safe for Blue to walk around, and although this slippery slope means the direct path isn't an option, they could walk across the frozen riverbed just fine, and our last Jinjo is safe. So, of the 45 Jinjos in the game, according to my rules, 22 of them can escape to Spiral Mountain unharmed, 6 can make it out but only after taking injuries, 15 are trapped with no way to escape, and 2 would die. Even then, those deaths are pure conjecture, but then so is this entire premise. The Yellow Jinjos fared the best, with 6 being saved and only 2 being stuck forever. But the Purple Jinjos had both of the deaths. Both the Blue and Green Jinjos had the most trapped at 4 apiece. So if Banjo never came to rescue them, just about half of the Jinjos could escape unharmed in Banjo-Kazooie. Not a bad amount, all things considered. I do plan to look at the Jinjos in Banjo-Tooie as well, and while I haven't done the research yet, I'm predicting they'll have it a bit rougher. If you want to get notified when I do that Banjo-Tooie follow-up, click that subscribe button down there and hit that bell. You know how it works. I've got another huge N64 related video in the works for June, too, which some of you might know about if you followed my posts here and on Blue Sky, so look forward to that as well. Until then, I'm Grey J, and I'll see you some other time with more silly things.